Alright. Next in line is fuel system for the 1140. Because remember, I thought it was having some fuel issues. So, with the flywheel out of the way, it'll be easy to take these screws out here for the fuel tank fitting of the fuel line, and then rotate to the other side here. I'm going to just take my fuel needle entirely out. This nut was pretty loose, so just see what to do about that. But because this banjo fitting needs to be tight, and I've had issues before with loose banjo fittings on these models, and then they let air into the system. But there's a pair of screws holding the carburetor into the air cleaner body here, and those screws don't have clearance to get up past the carburetor body, just like on the T1 tractor. But if you loosen them up here, and then there's unlike the T1, this has the solid fuel line to contend with, so I don't know which way to jiggle this. So I certainly don't want to bend this fuel line a bunch, because that'll put it into a... Let me see if I can get the... There we go. Okay. The two screws holding the air filter assembly box on are going to come out relatively easily. So now there we go. And of course the speed control lever, which I have disconnected because I don't have my carb adjustments very well sorted out. So it's just a temptation, but okay. Alright. Let's set that aside. So we got our air cleaner fixture here, and it's got the O-ring in the bottom that seals the bottom of the carb into the fixture here, and then stuck to the bottom was an O-ring that sits in the head of the engine right here, and then I need to keep those screws in order and in place. So here's our carburetor, and there's an O-ring and banjo fitting, and so I'm unscrewing that outside O-ring in the banjo fitting so that it doesn't get cut up severely by rolling it over these threads. Although I'm going to have to look into my O-ring stash and see about getting some fatter O-rings for on this banjo fitting, because that cap was loose, so there was no compression on the banjo fitting, and that can allow air to get sucked in through it instead of fuel, and that needs to be all tight for fuel. And then here's the tiny O-ring that seals the side on the fuel tank. So with this, I'm going to just take a bit of air and blow air through that to make sure that there's nothing inside it. And then here's the other O-ring from that banjo fitting. I said I'm going to have to get a pair of those at some juncture. And then, okay. Here's this is the stop that these little carbs have. So I'm going to have to get that off. Oh. Right. That's the 3.5 millimeter nut. So I'm going to put that in the toolkit there. And then with the stop out, the body comes out of this carburetor. And so these carb bodies, they've got the high-speed needle, or they've got a needle in the end here. And then the stop also provides the motion inward, sliding inward, because that needle plugs this large jet here, and then the this needle goes in the end here and plugs from the other side here. And I always forget which of these which is the high speed and which is the low speed needle. But this carb, it looks like this hex nut. You could take the needle body out if you needed to. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to blow this out thoroughly, and I will take this needle out so that I can clean it out thoroughly. And then I need to go on a scavenger hunt for little O-rings in my O-ring stash. So I'm going to go dig around for O-rings to replace the banjo fitting O-rings, and then grab the air and blow out these fittings and blow out the carb here and wash the fuel tank out. And when I'm done with that, hopefully this engine will run a lot better.